life and your business gets better if you get better with words. Your ad budget gets cheaper if you get better with words. Your email open rate is better if you get better with words. Your sales page converts better if you get better with words. You close higher percentages from stage if you get better with words. Your competition is not people, it's social media. Whatever the platform you're on is your competition. Stop looking at social media and stop looking at content and thinking that posting content is a marketing strategy. It's not. The marketing strategy happens before. How do you find the thing that you can plug your life into so you can generate power, resources to other people?
How does content help me achieve my goal of growing and scaling my business?
Man, y'all ask some phenomenal questions. I like it.
Does your business need more customers? Well, you don't have a customer problem, you have a lead problem. One of my favorite mentors told me, instead of going to find more clients, why don't you spend a little bit more time making yourself more findable? Today, we got one of the best experts to teach you exactly how to use content to get more leads from your business and grow and scale and get to the next level. And make sure you stay to the end. He's going to be giving some secret sauce on how you can launch monthly to dynamically increase your sales. All that plus more in today's episode.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Melanin Money Show. And on today's podcast, we got somebody who we've had a lot of offline conversations with, a lot of gems, a lot of insight has been shared.
Just crushed our stage at Wealth Weekend.
Absolutely went crazy at Wealth Weekend. But now it's time to invite y'all into some of those conversations that we've been able to have, and so he really bless the people. So with no further ado, Marcus, how you feeling, brother?
Man, I'm phenomenal. I'm happy to be here. I'm very, very happy to be here.
I love it. I love it. I love it, man.
Yes, sir.
Man, how y'all feeling? You smell like money, like melanin money.
Hey, come on now. No, we feeling great, man. Happy to have you here. You know, you've been a longtime friend of ours.
Yeah.
A friend tour for me. I've been watching you for a very long time, and just you're a dynamic speaker. Your content is amazing, and I think that you have a lot to teach the people. But before we go into the tactics and everything, I just want to know, because I personally don't know your entrepreneur journey or the story before you were who the man you are today.
Yeah.
So can you just let us in on some of that insight to let people know who you are?
Man, I was an entrepreneur before I knew what an entrepreneur was. I'm from Panama City, Florida, man. So it is born and raised. So it's close to Alabama.
Okay,
so
deep south. I would say I hear the accent.
Yeah,
deep south.
It's not South Florida. Yeah. Like from where I'm from, Panama City is like 9 hours to Miami.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm closer to Atlanta than I am to that, right? So Panama City, grew up on the beach. I say it's like Alabama water, but here's my point. Where I'm from, you had like the frozen cup lady where you make Kool-Aid and you put it in frozen cups and sell it. Bro, I grew up where my parents were pastors. My mom would go to Sam's and I would use I borrowed $20 to buy the noodle cups. You can add water, the candy. Yeah. If you go up in church, only the preacher get free food. So I would sell the candy and food to people who was there waiting on the preacher. So like, I didn't know that was entrepreneurship. Yeah. To take $20 and make $100 a night, I thought I was rich.
So you would go to the store before church.
Yeah, with my mom or whoever the person that was cooking at church. I would go with them. I would ask my mom for $10, $20 and I would buy Nerds and candy, because you know Costco, Sam's, you buy in bulk.
$20 could go to
oh my God, yeah. That or those boxes of Nutty Buddy bars where you get 6 for $1. We had a place called Piggly Wiggly.
Oh,
yeah,
right. My mom is from Farmville, North Carolina, so I heard of Piggly Wiggly.
Quarter sodas. So you got to think, man, if you bought for $4, you can get 12 Nutty Buddy bars and 8 sodas. Yeah. But you're selling the Nutty Buddy bars for $1 a piece. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so between that, I sold linen outfits to, you know, the tacky church folks that was wearing the all lavender shoes, do-rags, they'll be split red and black.
2 colors, you don't know that about that, man.
I would come to Atlanta with my mom to the buyer's market, because she had her own boutique, and I would go at wholesale and would just buy do-rags, gold caps, when people used to have individual gold caps. I'm from in Panama City, we didn't get music like that. So I remember buying Pastor Troy or T.I. I'm Serious albums or the mixed CDs, and I would, you buy a big box of them and go back and sell them. So I didn't know that was called entrepreneurship. I just knew I took a little bit of money, sold it, and made a lot more than what I paid.
This is cool. You're like, yo, I'm on to something.
I'm like, whatever this is, I want it for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life. So like, I didn't know it was entrepreneurship. I just knew I took $10 and made $100. And whatever that is, I'm gonna do the rest of my life.
I need more of that, more right there. Yeah, for sure.
So by the time you realized it was entrepreneurship, right? As you evolve, How did you transition from buying the Nutty Buddy bars, right, and the quarter sodas to having a multi-million-dollar business?
Yeah.
What are some of those early steps beyond like that first?
I'm gonna tell the story and people hear it and like, what? So let's breeze past it. So when I graduated high school, I went to college. I was 16. So I graduated high school very, very early. Tested out of a lot of stuff. I don't think I was smart. I think I have a great memory. Everything other than math is memorization. So if you're in school.
Yeah.
So I went off. I thought I was going to play ball forever. That journey started with graduating early, tore my ACL, MCL. If you see my knee, you see that long scar. So it's an identity crisis when all you thought you was going to do is play ball. What do you do when that's taken off the table?
Yeah.
So I started promoting parties, which is still entrepreneurism.
Yeah,
we just talked about that. We had our fair share in those days. You know what I'm saying?
Party promotion, club promotion. And here's what I would say to any person, like, when you're in college, you have access to more people than you will ever have in your life. The older you get, the less friends you have. You start tightening your circle.
Right.
So it was that. From there, at 19, I bought my first house. I started learning
at 19?
Yeah.
Wow.
Started learning about tax deeds.
Okay.
That's how I kind of got into real estate.
Okay.
Somebody was telling about tax deeds, and they was telling me, oh man, you can go up the steps and get the foreclosure homes and fix and flips and all that kind of stuff, right? So that started that journey again of, okay, cool. 20-ish. Lost everything, tried to bet big on a condominium in Daytona Beach, Florida, and I would have owned the whole floor. So this like 2007-ish,
You was swinging for the fences, bro.
Yeah, because I started generating some money between parties and real estate, and like, you hustling. I had in Panama City, I had a cleaning business.
Yeah.
So if you cleaning condos, you know what I'm saying, you got a few of those. So I was always just finding stuff. I don't know if y'all remember your travel biz. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I was doing that when somebody come by and you sign people up. It's basically network marketing.
Oh, okay.
Sign people up. Yeah. So imagine you got the cleaning business, you're doing party promotion, you're doing that. I ain't have no real thing. It's just like, what can we do and hustle?
Yeah.
Right.
So like real estate was that thing I was trying to swing for the fences, but I was ignorant. Yeah. No coach. You know what I mean? You just
Can you talk about why, like in reflection, why that deal went wrong? I always like think there's so many lessons in the mistakes. Yeah. So like, you reflect on like what made that such a big L for you to lose everything?
Yeah. So you're trying to make an investment into something based on a potential result you want, but no education. So all you know is the potential of I can make this much, but what do you need in place to make that much? Right. So I didn't know deal structure. So in essence, the guy who had the actual development, he was developing a condominium building right there across that bridge, Daytona. He knew all the information. It was like, oh man, you'll make this much. I would have owned the floor. But it was his deal. So ultimately you're investing into him and his deal, but he's got the funding with the bank. He's got all that. You know what I'm saying? So you're buying in. I didn't know contract structure, so I don't know. I'm just taking his word for it. We got a contract, but it's his contract. Well, if I send you a contract, it's gonna be favorable for me.
Right.
Well, recession hit, man, and he filed for bankruptcy. Right. So you have to think, when that first recession hit in 2008, banks in essence was calling those loans, those interest only, where they like, no, you got to, you know what I'm saying, pay the whole thing. So he was overextended, had a few different deals. He filed for bankruptcy. So I can't talk to the bank. I gave him hundreds of thousands of dollars. My deal's with him. Well, if he ain't paying the bank, he definitely not paying.
Definitely ain't paying you. Yeah.
And lost it all, bro. Went down to $11.37 in a Regions Bank account. I was in Tallahassee, Florida, on Monroe Street and Appalachia Street. I remember where I was, bro, and couldn't afford to even pay for the parking. So if you were in Tallahassee, you know what I'm talking about. That Regions Bank right there on the corner of Monroe and Appalachia, bro. And I remember sitting there, $11.37 in Regions Bank account. And that feeling that hit your stomach, that's like, and where I'm from, my neighborhood, they call me Money Mark. It's like, oh. So you got to think, it's an identity issue. You're not that anymore. So now you got to save face. You got to figure out, how can you live up to the perception in people's head when that ain't your reality? You know what I'm saying? So you chasing something at that point. Really, you chasing yourself. Like, who am I outside of the money? I tell people it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I realized I was never successful. I just had money. I was never successful.
So let's stay there for a second, because I feel like identity, I've heard this be, do, have framework, right? Where if you become the person that you need to be, that automatically make you do the things that you need to do to have the things that you want to have.
Yeah.
How important is identity?
Yeah. So, I'm a faith guy, right? So I tell people I'm not that smart, man. I copy and paste and plagiarize Jesus, and sometimes I give him credit. So I say it a little differently. So be, do, have, that's Stephen Covey, right? His framework. My thought is I call it P3. Before you needed a paycheck, you were a person. And before you were a person, you had a purpose. Right. So purpose is first. Purpose is the thought and idea that God had in mind when he took you from his mind, put you in your father's body, who released you in your mother's womb. Right. So if you start with your birth date, you start too late.
Here you go.
Because you started as a thought from God. If you are created, the creation starts in the mind of the creator. So your origin started in God's mind of what Marcus could become, what Marcus could be, that God thought my potential, my talent, my ability. So the only reason that I am a person is because I had a purpose. So before you were a person, you had a purpose. And before you ever needed a paycheck, you were a person. If you ever get that confused and you chase paycheck, you lose the idea of becoming the person. If you just focus on the person, you cannot be fulfilled because you haven't discovered purpose.
What's up, family? Are you ready to make more in 2024? I'm talking make more money, pay less taxes, and get access to more capital? If so, I want you to join our 100% free masterclass where we're going to be teaching you all of these strategies so you can keep more money in your pocket and you can make your money make money for you. So if you want to be a part of this amazing free class, all you have to do is click the link below and save your spot. The problem is we only have 50 seats. So I will pause this episode, go register, and come back to it after so that you can save your seat for this masterclass. Other than that, I'll see you inside the class. Let's get back to the episode.
So before you were a person, you had a purpose.
Gotcha.
The original thought and intent of God. Before you ever needed a paycheck, you were a person. So it goes purpose, person, paycheck. You don't even have to pursue a paycheck if you discover purpose. Here's why. Humanity is the only thing that God ever created that leaves the environment and go and figure out how it's going to find fulfillment, food, and supply. A fish don't leave the water looking for food, but humanity leaves purpose looking for money.
Okay.
Here we go.
This is what we're doing. So it's only right at this point, understanding the order of operations, that we understand what is your purpose.
Yeah. So I have a 4-prong, I call it the Rosa mission statement, or my LMS, life mission statement. And I teach this in business because I think that you're going to find a whole lot of things on your journey, information, people, but you won't find fulfillment until you figure this out. So mine is, number one, what I call to do what pleases God. That is, what is the thought? I don't want to malfunction, right? So what is the thought that he had in mind for me? So how do I do what pleases God? Number 2, to do what I'm gifted at and love doing. So important. So important. Because I don't want to do what I'm gifted at if I don't love doing it. If not, you're 20 years retired like Michael Jordan and you still identify as a basketball player. Can't be. You haven't been that for over 20 years.
Yeah.
Right? So I want to do what I'm gifted at and love doing. Number 3, what helps people. And number 4, what pays me well. I call that mission epic, to empower people and inspire change. Right? So that's my purpose. Like, how do I take the gift that God has given me? Some people think my gift is communication. It's really not. It's wisdom, which is a spiritual gift. My communication, I wasn't born with. I had to develop. My wisdom, I was. So what you're hearing from me is thought. But I had to develop the gift of communication, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you say, hey, I naturally am inclined to numbers, well, you had to find an occupation, tax, or investment to figure out what's the vehicle that you're going to use that for. Right. So when I'm talking about my purpose is to be epic, is to empower people to find their charger. How do you find the thing that you can plug your life into so you can generate power, resources to other people? Yeah, that's mine.
Powerful.
Yeah.
So you mentioned something about communication. How important is it to be a good communicator if you want to be a business entrepreneur?
I don't think it's just entrepreneurship. I think everything in your life and your business gets better if you get better with words. So if you are a father who's been absent in your kid's life, your ability to articulate and have that conversation, the relationship gets better if you get better with words. If you're a married man and don't know how to communicate vision or your emotional needs to your spouse, she could love you, but can't understand how to love you if you don't get better with words. If you are a leader of a team, you can have great employees that you expect to be mind readers simply because you told them what to do, but you didn't explain it because you're not good with words. Everything in your marketing, your ad budget gets cheaper if you get better with words. Your email open rate is better if you get better with words. Your landing page, your sales page converts better if you get better with words. You close higher percentages from stage if you get better with words. Everything in your life and your business gets better if you get better with words.
How does one get better with words?
I'm happy that you asked. Now look at what we just did. What I just did is actually a speaking framework. Here's why. What's the core anchor of the message? Everything in your life gets better if what? You get better with words. Now I got call and response with the crowd.
Yeah.
And what I did was I made you believe what I believe because I proved my case.
4 times. 4 times. Not just once. With the spouse, with the child, with the team, the business. So you just hit everybody in the room and let them know that the most important thing that they be focused on this moment is what you want them to focus on.
Being better words. Yeah. And it's not, and here's why it lands. It's truth. Truth that leaves the heart reaches the heart. You ain't got to force nobody. It's truth. You can't argue truth because a person will, well, I don't know if I agree with that. Name something that is more important and a higher skill in communication. They're like, well, making money. How you going to do it? At the end of every war, somebody got to sit down and talk about it. Right? Yeah. So it's like, yeah. So how does one get better with words? This is not going to be the answer people want. What people be wanting, bro, is like, give me 1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah. Right.
Communication and speaking is a skill, not information. What people want you to share with them is information, but you don't sit dangling your feet in the water and read a book on how to swim. Yeah. You got to actually swim. Yeah. How do you learn how to walk? From falling.
Yeah.
So you actually have to attempt to do the thing and measure what we call your ignorance gap. How far am I from what I need to know to get a result? So you don't learn how to speak until you fail at speaking and measure how wide is the gap between the skill and the ignorance.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So it was like, what did I get wrong? So to that point, clear communication comes from a clear mind. This is a core concept I even teach. Like now we just released we call a speaker program, so to speak, but it's targeted not at becoming a motivational speaker or any of that. It's for CEOs, business owners who's using speaking to grow their brand, business, and bank account, right? Yeah. So it's like that. Clear communication comes from a clear mind. So people think, how do I get better at speaking? It's not speaking, it's thinking. Because you only speak with your mind. You're using your mouth, but your mouth is expressing.
Yeah.
So when somebody say, man, Marcus, how are you telling, like the stuff y'all are asking me, how is this so articulate? How are you not saying, pauses? Because I am clear in my mind. So what you're inheriting is the clarity of my mind. So it's easy to find things. I just told my lady, I was like, yo, if you went, I'm very organized in my closet. All my stuff is all my whites together, all my blacks together, all my shoes, all my threes. So I could tell her, hey, go in the closet, go to the white section, not the t-shirts, to the dress shirts, and find this, right? Most people don't have an information management system in their head that way. So they can't find something when they want it.
I heard that the mind is a great place for thinking of ideas, but not for storing them. But it sounds like what you're saying is, even if that's true, you have to have a great recall system so that you can access.
Yeah, 100%. So I've got a bunch of, I don't call them frameworks, recipes. It's not word for word that I can pull from, or if you're reading a book, I am very, very clear on what it takes to ideate and create a concept that changes people's lives, right? So our generation now don't really respect information or ideas, so we burglarize people's ideas and thoughts. I call them thought thieves. So we will take a person who's set with a discipline to create a framework, a concept, an idea. So if you talk about the laws of leadership, we think John Maxwell. if John Maxwell was right now an internet person, somebody would steal that idea and act like it's their own.
Yep. They actually do it right now.
If you think about Chapman, the love languages, well, he didn't create it. He named it and placed it almost like a street sign. You know what I'm saying? The concepts existed. Here's my point. That clarity that you're talking about comes from an extreme discipline where you've got to sit and ideate and think, how do I make this simple for someone else? You already have it. You already know it.
Yeah.
So you're creating a way that the audience now can see it, can understand it. So for a person who's trying to get better with communication, it doesn't happen without you having in your schedule that. It's like, how do I get stronger in the gym? Go to the gym and work out.
Yeah.
Right.
How do I get stronger with communication? I'm going to say, I know I talk in riddle, but it helps people get it.
Yeah.
You don't even see with your eyes, you see with your mind. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're looking right now, this is why two people can look at the same thing and perceive it differently, because you're not really seeing it with your eyes, you're seeing it with your mind.
Filter of your mind. Yeah.
If I'm talking to right now, whoever watches this podcast, 3,000 people would all hear something different. Yeah. One person hears one point and say, ooh, that was what I needed. Because you don't even hear with your ears, you hear with your mind.
So if you like intentionally plant the seed in your mind of what you're trying to communicate, it'll be easier for you to
100%. 100%. So your reticular activating system, right? Your RAS is like how if you buy a Audi or a Honda, you see them all over the world. Right. That's the part of your brain that filters out what's not important or filters in what is. Car's already been there. You only paying attention to it because your RAS, reticular activating system, has been triggered.
Yeah.
So if you go on a path to learn taxes, you notice how you spot, oh, that's good. You'll see information nobody else sees because your RAS is triggered to it. Yep. You're like, hold on, it's been there all along. You see it with your mind because you're filtering out taxes. When I'm seeing communication, when I'm looking at speaking, when when I'm seeing something, I see it totally different. I also, like, even with my Audible files, I mark whose quote it is because I know how hard it is to come up with your own stuff. I never want to make the mistake of regurgitating someone's stuff without giving them credit for it.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. So it's forcefully making your mind filter and focus on the things you want to focus on. So how do you weed out those distractions? So number one, how does somebody get better with communication? Actually train your mind towards focusing on a specific outcome. Right. So if you're saying, hey, the thing that I want to talk about is taxes, don't just get on stage and ramble on that joint, bro. Yeah. Like people will say, well, man, I work better at the last minute. That's not true. No. That's just the lie you told yourself.
Yeah. Right.
Because if you work better at the last minute, what you're saying is you're one emergency away from having to be selfish. Because if you get a phone call right before you got to do the thing you're supposed to do, you got to choose between preparing for that moment or being there for people that need you. Procrastination is the highest form of selfishness because you're putting yourself in a position to have to choose between the thing you're responsible for that's important to you. Like it's important to me to kill it on stage, but my family's important to me. So if I don't prepare in advance, if my dad calls me and needs me, I got to choose between me, the opportunity, the brand, or the person.
Yeah. So
just create a regimen. You know what I'm saying? Like of this constant, if you intake and read, when do you sit with that stuff and manage, okay, of all the stuff, what's my information management system? Of all the stuff that I've read and learned, when do I do it? So here's what I do if I'm at a conference. My boy Neo, he said, bro, you do a really good job of speaking, of selling from stage. You're like, but you don't do a good job of like talking about yourself. He's like, so you'll leave from a room and you'll edify the person who conference it was, but you never really give your backstory and who you are for people to buy into you. Yeah. He's like, you gotta get better with that. I said, I put out my phone. He's like, what you doing? I said, I'm putting it on my calendar. He's like, what you mean? I said, what you just told me, I'm putting it on my calendar to remind me every week to work on that.
Real time.
Intentionality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, what does that look like? I was like, the thing you told me. So I'm gonna start throughout the week just writing down core areas I can work on. That's what I'm saying. That's how you get better.
Yeah.
It's on the calendar.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I always tell people, if you want to commit to something, you do it in 3 ways. Commit with your wallet first, right? To make sure that you're financially committed. Commit with your calendar second to make sure it's actually on your calendar. Then commit with your circle last. Because if you get in a room of people that are going to do it as well, you're going to do it. So like you want to work out, you pay a trainer, commit with your wallet, you schedule the training sessions on your calendar every day. And then you also change your circle by now you're working out with other people that work out. If you do those 3 things, you can master anything.
If you think I ain't right, you are lying. Commit now. Number one, that's a full sales framework too.
Yeah.
Hold on, in real time, folks. You should pause it right now. Commit with your wallet.
Yeah.
Commit with your calendar.
They commit with your circle.
Because if you think about it, you said you don't call them recipes. Frameworks. You call them recipes. So if you think about a recipe, you have this dish that you want to make. You say, I want to make lasagna, right? If you want to make lasagna, you have to have the ingredients, right, for the dish. So you got to make sure that you have the ingredients to make the thing. Then you got to figure out, well, what is the cook time? How long is it going to take me to make the dish? Right. So for me, when you said recipes, that's what really clicked for me, because that's how I think about everything that I do. Like, what are the ingredients, i.e., what are the tasks that I have to do to make this happen? What is the macro outcome, i.e., I want to make the lasagna, but then I got to buy the ingredients, and then I got to have the time to actually do it. And I think so many times people just think about the outcome, but not realizing, do they even have all the ingredients, right, to make it? Right? Had they allocated the time to be able to cook it? And that's why they missed the mark on their goals.
I feel like that's why you all are needed, or I'm needed, or my bro, Marquell, and so many others are needed, right? I believe that our creator, God, is so genius in the way that he created humanity, is that he hides information about what we can do, become, or have inside of other people. You don't even know what you want until you see somebody else with it.
Yep. Can't beat what you can't see, bro.
Yeah. So the genius of that, when you're talking about the recipe, you don't know what's missing unless you have a proper view of yourself, and then you see someone else and you're not jealous, you're inspired by it. That's why inspiration is so important. You can't pursue a path that you haven't seen someone on, and what they do, they trigger something in you. So for instance, I was watching Chris Brown documentary, and he was talking about growing up just naturally dancing around the house, and he would watch Michael Jackson. Well, God already gave Chris Brown the gift and the skill.
Right.
But watching Michael Jackson do it was a piece of information about himself to go on a path to become what he always was.
Powerful.
Right. So I think that's what coaching does. Coaching, if it's done correctly, I tell people when I'm done speaking, my job is to be a mirror of words, to say something that helps you see yourself, not see me. So if you walk away and say, oh, he was great, but you don't see yourself, it's a failed speech. Because you can't be me, because you didn't go on that path, and you're responsible for unpacking the inventory that God put in you. You ain't responsible for my inventory. Right. So you can't develop what he ain't put there. That's Darius Daniels. He was like, you can't develop what God didn't distribute.
Good. So let me ask you this. So how does content help entrepreneurs or business owners build their business? Because I understand communication helps with content.
Yeah.
And the content can help with conversions.
Yeah.
And you speak about that a lot. So because I believe once people see the importance of something, they'll adopt the need to do it, right? So if I'm an entrepreneur or business owner watching this, how does content help me achieve my goal of growing and scaling my business?
Man, y'all ask some phenomenal questions. I like it here. I like it here. So how does content help me grow and develop my business? I would first tell a person to let's do a shift. Stop looking at social media and stop looking at content and thinking that posting content is a marketing strategy. It's not.
Right.
The marketing strategy happens before. So if you didn't have a strategy before you posted the content, you just posted content. You're doing the same thing as grandma posting her babies, right? Her grandkids. Yeah. So I want you to see social media as your marketing department.
Okay.
So if you see it as just a department in your business and you're hiring the pieces of content to accomplish whatever your goal is.
Got you. So you're employing these soldiers on social media to do the marketing.
If you're using Instagram, YouTube, if you're using Facebook, you're saying Facebook, Instagram, YouTube is my marketing department.
Right.
When you meet with your marketing department, you're sitting and ideating, what do you want your marketing department to do? Hey guys, this month we are actually launching a campaign or a challenge, or we having Wealth Weekend. You're telling your marketing department, I want to generate more leads. I want to get more awareness about the thing we're doing. Now hire the content to do it.
Hire the content to do it.
You don't got
which influences the strategy, because now you... Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So there's no wasted pieces. There's no randomness. There is hire the marketing department. So if you see it as such and you're saying, oh yeah, I'm posting 3 times a day, who cares?
Right.
Who cares how many times you're posting? So if somebody looked at your grid and we looked at your top 6, can you answer the question, what did I want this piece of content to do? If not, it wasn't a marketing strategy. What you were doing is working for free for social media. You were an unpaid employee, because the goal of what people forget, right? Your competition is not people, it's social media. Whatever the platform you're on is your competition, because the platform was built for us to be on it and to take our creative genius, our influence, our ideas, and to post it. They are then making money and selling ads on that space, right? So you have to think the goal of social media, or whatever social media platform you're on, is to keep you on the platform.
Right.
The goal of every person who is using that platform to grow their business is to get you off of it and on your site.
Yep. Right.
So who are you competing against? The platform.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So like, you got to think, when Instagram, Facebook, when they created these platforms, they sat down and they thought of, okay, we're going to give users free access and we're going to sell all of these people. The way I explain it to my clients is, look at it like a festival. At a festival, there are people that are out there to enjoy the festival, and there's vendor booths. The vendor booths is there to make money.
Right.
The people are there to enjoy the festival. So if you're on social media and you got nothing to sell, you at the festival.
Yeah. Okay, that's what you care. Right.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah.
But if you have a vendor booth, you got to ask yourself the question, how do I get, of all these people, more people to come to my vendor booth? This is where content comes from. It is to get awareness. It is to get attention. It is for you to get visibility. So the best type of content, I know you didn't ask this, but I would say now what I find that's performing the best, because here's my focus of what I'm teaching coaches and entrepreneurs. We created what we call a lead, launch, and sales system. Most people don't have a money problem, they have a lead problem.
Talk about it.
Right. So if your income goal is $10,000 a month, people think that you hit that goal by affirmations. No.
Right. I deserve it.
Right. Yeah. It's not affirmations. It's not you seeing the number every day. That number is made up of leads. How many leads do I need in order for me to reach that income goal? Right. So that means you don't have an income goal or money problem, you have a lead problem. So we teach people how to create 3 different types of lead generation strategies for the 3 different types of buyers. Everyone don't buy the same.
What are 3 types of buyers?
Yeah, so you have people that are experienced buyers, that they have to experience the thing in order to make a purchase. So this is why challenges are great. This is why webinars and masterclasses are great, because all it really is an experience of what you're selling me. Those work really well. You sell in bulk. People love the energy of other people in the room. They love watching you teach, because I'm buying an aspect of what you'll teach me, right? That's an experience. This could be case studies. It don't have to be live, right?
Yeah.
You have people, what I call paid lead magnets. There are people like myself that you wouldn't sell me on an experience event, because I'm not going to come all 5 days.
Yeah.
So like that, although I would want it, I'm the person that I would buy something from you and see how well it's put together.
Ooh, that's good.
And I bought such and such, or I would buy a ticket to your challenge just to see how it's ran and kind of check out the Facebook group and send a message. Hey, could you let me know about the offer that you guys are going to offer on the challenge? Would love to hear more about it, blah, blah, blah. If you try to sell me, you lost me. If you present the information, you got me, right? That's how I buy. Right. So I'll buy your stuff. I don't mind spending some money on something to see if it makes sense. I'll buy a ticket to your event, see if it makes sense. So you have experience.
But from your vantage point, you're buying a ticket to see the back end process that will give you an inclination if this is something that you want to do.
Because even in that, like I can go into in a second, I teach my clients how to decide what to invest in, because no one's taught us. When they say invest in a coach, no one taught us how to determine and evaluate what I need and what type of investment to make, right? So you have paid experience, and then you have free, but I don't use that word in our community, because there's no such thing as free.
Yep, because you got to pay with your time.
Everything comes at a cost. So if someone says free drinks, someone bought the drinks and someone paid the person to serve the drinks. Somebody say free food, somebody bought the food, somebody prepared it. So it's at no cost. It's not free, it's at no cost. Which is the strategy that allows you. Here's why the at no cost is powerful, because you can overcome lack of brand recognition. I'll tell you what I mean. If you go into any mall around the world, you know Chick-fil-A is going to be in the food court. You know that you're going to have a few other restaurants in the food court. Now watch this. You're going to have a Chinese or Asian restaurant. Nobody could tell you the name of them.
But you know they're gonna be there,
right?
With the little samples.
You know the brand Chick-fil-A, but if you say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go to food court," man, I'm gonna hit the Chinese spot.
Yeah.
Most people that eat Chinese or Asian could not tell you the name of it.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Which means their tactic of allowing you to taste test the food is a at no cost lead generation strategy that overcomes brand. So you walk through the mall, you're on your way to Chick-fil-A to get your number one with cheese. You're like, let me get the chicken sandwich with cheese. You're on the phone like this. Hey, babe, what you want? That number one, teriyaki chicken. Hold on one second, babe.
Oh, this is fire. I can hold you.
You taste that teriyaki. Ooh, hey, what's that one right there? Orange chicken?
Can I get 2 of them and a side?
What's that right there? Bourbon chicken? Man, can I get more than one?
That
2
bourbon
meats,
do
2
slap.
sides. Now, what did they do? They took a piece of the thing that they actually sell and allowed you to taste test it. And without brand recognition, without you knowing the name of it, you got a chance to, it did 2 things. It's at no cost and experience.
Yeah.
From that, they acquired a customer.
Yeah.
Because now you are on your way to Chick-fil-A, but now because they took a piece of what that they sell and allowed you to taste it. Now here's the mistake business owners make, coaches make, entrepreneurs make. They try to let you taste test chicken and sell you steak. Their lead magnet is something on their laptop that I call a Goodwill product. Is what they don't want, they don't use.
And they expect you to convert off that when the freebie is their first experience of your brand. So if the freebie sucks, they expect, okay, this person's back end sucks. And you're giving it away as an entrepreneur for free because this is what I want to give because it don't cost me nothing. What you're doing is you're killing your brand because if the free thing is not good, then I know the paid thing ain't going to be good.
So if you're trying to sell me, so for instance, what lead magnet is connected to what type of sale? Yeah. You're not going to convert me. Some people, right? But if you're selling me, let's say for me, if I'm saying, hey, you're going to come into my coaching program where we help you generate consistent leads to hit your income goal. We give you a monthly launch strategy. Why? Most entrepreneurs don't have predictable revenue. They don't have a cash flow day, so they can't tell you month to month how much they're making. They know how much they're paying in bills, but not how much somebody's paying their business. The monthly launch creates the predictability of revenue. It also shortens the gap from new leads going to know, like, trust a client in a smaller window. So if every 30 days, if I'm speaking right now on stage, what is my launch window to move a person from know, like, trust a client in a smaller window? Without a monthly launch, you don't have that. So we teach you 7 different types of launches. So you can pick and choose. They all take you less than 8 hours, right? So now it's not a heavy lift. It's predictable leads, shortening the window from know, like, trust to client with a monthly launch. We map out the whole year worth of launches so you know which one you're doing, right? Some are automated launches that don't require you. Because here's what happens, right? This helps whether you're at start, grow, or scale. If you ran a challenge last year and you paid $30,000 in ads on one, for the year you ran 6-figure in ads, you're not going to do nothing with all them leads. That's not segmented. You're not doing relaunch campaigns. You're not doing buyback campaigns. You're not doing automated launches. You're not doing conversion launches. So you don't even have a launch to recoup that revenue because you think that the only buying window was when you was launching your challenge. So you only had, you know what I'm saying? You only had an experience event. So you lost a large market of people. So this is what made me build this system. This lead launch and sales system, and I got it from corporations. I didn't take this from small business owners. What was it? At the time of this, I hope I'm not over talking.
Oh, no, bro. We're like taking business notes right now mentally.
But you get my point. Like the lead launch sale process at the time of this, a couple months back, Krispy Kreme, or is either Krispy Kreme or Dunkin' Donuts? I think it was Krispy Kreme.
They did a collaboration with some.
They became the top app. Yeah, the app was the top downloaded app for 2 months in a row. Right, top 5 on the Apple Store. Question has to be asked: how did Krispy Kreme become the top 5 downloaded app? What happened? They created a lead launch and sales process. Right. So most people are getting healthier. So you don't hear grown adults saying, "What you doing next weekend, man? I'm going to get some donuts." People are more health conscious. So now what does that mean? That means that the market has shrunk. So just to think business terms. The brand is still strong, but their market has shrunk.
Right. The total addressable market is
it's shrunk of people who are buying on a consistent basis. So which means their revenue dropped. So they don't have a money problem. What do they have? A lead problem. So they then decided that they were going to do a campaign for people to download the app. And if you did, you came in and you got a free donut. When you used the app and got the free donut, you also got a discount on coffee. What did they do? They spike sales, they spike the download. Now, what do they have? When you downloaded the app, they got your phone number, they got push notifications, and they started rolling out campaigns every single day. So they're acquiring customers. What are they having with the push notification download the app? Leads. So with you being the top 5 downloaded app, you just acquired all these leads worldwide. What did they create with all of these different Tuesday, Thursday campaigns? A launch campaign. Yep. What did it spark for them? A sales process. You get what I'm saying? Right. Then you saw their revenue spiked and they made more in that quarter than they had made in quarters previous. Yeah. This is what I'm saying. Every business does this. America does this. Like, I'm talking about big business. Yeah. America's a business. So watch this. Every 30 to 60 days in the U.S. economy, in order for us to not go in a recession, there has to be at least 70% consumption. If it drops below 70% consumption, we go into a recession. So how does the U.S. economy make sure that they are sparking consumption? There is a lead, launch, and sales process. Watch. February, so January, top of the year, people are traveling. So they are capitalizing on travel, etc. Top of the year, New Year's Eve, New Year's. February, you have Valentine's Day. March, you're going to have some made up thing on the calendar in March. So normally it's like some traditional holiday, whether it's a President's Day or whether it's a St. Patty's, all these, right? You normally around April time is where you get Easter. Right after that, you go into May where you're going to get Memorial Day. Right after that, you're going to go into June where you're going to have Juneteenth and several other like local holidays. You're going to have 4th of July in July. In August, you got back to school. In September, you're going to have Labor Day. In October, you got Halloween. In November, you got Thanksgiving. In December, you got Christmas.
Sheesh.
That is a launch every month.
Come on, man. That ain't evidence. That ain't proof.
Yeah. So that's what I study. Large corporations. And now you say, how do you help the small business owner? I created a system around it. Right. Here you go. And I franchise it. Here's the 3 types of leads for the 3 different types of buyers. Here's the different types of launches that you can do. Here is the different types of sales processes because we don't all buy the same. And just like that, you got a cycle of consistent money. When you're ready and generate enough revenue with that, above that is, now let's talk about scaling. Why is that important? The monthly launch gives you so much data at growth stage that you'll need for the predictability of scale phase. Most people think scale is a dollar amount. They don't realize, and my bro will talk to this, scale is predictability. Scale is duplication. Scale is multiplication. So when people say, I want to automate my business, you can't automate until there is a strategy, until there is a system.
Right. And it's predictable. You can't scale what isn't predictable.
So that create, lead, launch system moves you beyond growth so fast that now you got predictable results. Here's how many leads we generate on average. Here's our conversion rates. Here's how long it takes for a person to buy. Here's what it looks like in sales. Think about how fast you get that data every 30 days.
And able to optimize every 30 days.
So now you're ready for scale. You got revenue coming in on down the line.
And so where my question goes is this seems so thoughtful, right? It's like, if you, to your point, if you have an experience event, but you acquire 6,000 leads and only a small percentage of those people convert for that core offer, that primary offer, are you proactively thinking on the front end how you're going to recoup those additional leads as a part of that overall? Is that a part of the initial campaign strategy?
So sometimes we do 2 launches in a month. So we just did one 2 weeks ago. That was 2 hot leads. We pulled the list of people who've been on our list more than 90 days who hasn't bought anything. Or who have bought something or who came to an experience event, right? I don't think the marketing window is done when the event is over. So if I was launching a challenge, my follow-up is not just 7 days. That's the follow-up for buyers. My goal is not to just make you a customer. It's to move you from no to like to trust to client. So I'm just looking to see where you're at in the process.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So you're not, when you say recoup, the goal is whether you say, hey, we do a 90-day or we do a 6-month. How long is the window so you don't drop them off? They might have wanted something else. They might have needed more than one touch point. You know what I'm saying? So you're just looking and seeing. So I pull those reports and I'm looking every month to see what percentage of people are we moving along the line in leads? You know what I'm saying? Like some people, it might take a year.
Well, I think what happens is some people think that like, if I didn't get you on the main sale, like that the other money is insignificant. But when you really think about how many leads there are way more of those leads than there are people that converted in that primary offer. So overlooking that can be detrimental to your overall.
If I could talk in detail, like my obsession now is not just the offer. So people say, what's the offer? It's not just the offer. It's not tactical things of that nature. It's in order for the fulfillment to be there, there has to be the recipe or the framework of how you fulfill, right? So if you're saying the offer was 5-figure months or 6-figure inner circle, right? So let's just say my create, lead, launch, sale process. We do done for you messaging, marketing, content, done for you funnels, copy, landing page, etc. And we do done for you business design, where we create the offer, we create the lessons, we teach you how to teach it, etc. Right? Then we coach you on week 1. You start with launching. So I'm not letting a person come into it and become a student. I'm keeping you as a business owner. There's nothing to learn other than here's how we launching. Right. So here's my point. If you don't buy let's say the core offer, 5-figure months mastermind or 6-figure months in a circle, I can just sell you on just the sales or just the leads or just the launch. You might not want the whole program. You might want, hey, we're doing a how to generate more leads using 3 different types of lead generation strategies for 3 different types of buyers. I might do a 6 different ways to launch your offer without using staff offers, where you use the staff you have to offset company expenses. I might do an automated launch showing you how to leverage your list and without you having to do any efforts, right? Somebody will buy just that. But from that, I can then sell you on the whole thing.
Because they experience the first part, and they might be an experienced buyer, and
you don't have to do nothing different. So you might just find a person. If I do speak to sale, hey, I'm showing you can join me to learn how to sell one-to-many from stage, how to sell on micro stages, how to sell from other people's stages, and how to sell on your own. How to craft and create virtual events that you average a 25% close rate. That's just the sales part. See what I'm saying? So you look at it like that and you say, for these leads, let's not detour from the recipe. Let's just figure out what part you want. Here's why. It's hard to sell me on the core offer if I ain't hungry. Right? You can't sell food to people who just ate. So you have to create a gap that the person realizes, here's what I know, here's what I don't know. And if I knew it, I would have more, do more, become more. So you got to just create the micro experiences in that.
Basically what it boils down to is you can't be lazy.
You got to think your business.
That's what it boils down to. You can't be lazy, and you can't have this limiting belief that segmenting your offer on the back end is going to cannibalize the core offer.
It doesn't.
And I think that's what people think. It's like, well, if I break it up, like I'm going to like cannibalize, and that's just couldn't be further from the truth when I hear you articulate it. It makes sense.
Because it's so much depth, right? So if I said, I got a cheat sheet of probably about 10 plus types of launches. If I invite you to an in-person 8-hour and I teach you 2 of the launches and we map out your launches, I still got more. You got something because we mapped it out for the year. You got a full launch calendar. You know how to do it. You know your marketing windows because you feel good. Like, I know what I'm doing. Like for us, my Black Friday stuff already ready to go. That was recorded in January. I know December I'm going to take off and I'm going to try to take a sabbatical So we got a joint we're going to do where we'll look at the data and sell the year. We know what that offer is going to look like and it shouldn't include me. So we'll sell the year and do staff offers in December. So I can take off. That's already pre-planned. So if I teach you how to create your full marketing windows, launch campaigns, how to read the data, well, okay, cool. You're only learning launching. But when you're there, I'm going to tease and expose you to the fact of how to get more leads in your launch, but I'm not teaching it. Now you just got hungry for it.
That's a fact. What would you say to somebody that would say that process could be a distraction to making your main thing as successful as it should be?
So you're not taking away from your main thing. What you're doing is you're honing in and you're only in your content. If I'm doing content, I'm only talking about create, lead, launch, or sale. So now you're hyper targeting that person. If I'm doing a launch event, I'm doing one this next Thursday called More Leads, More Sales. Where does that come from? Lead, launch, sale. I'm doing another one, a half-day workshop that's focused on sales. You're only teaching micro pieces of it. You're not distracting from it.
Got you.
You're just, if you're instead of doing 5-day, you're just taking the same recipe and you're finding multitude of ways, whether you're creating what some would call feeder offers or some would call them bridge offers.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It feeds the main thing.
Yeah. But it makes it feel refreshed and something different, and it gives you a different data set based upon focusing on something specific that somebody else might want.
And if you're tracking good, you realize, the lead launch worked better than the launch sale, or the lead sale worked better than this. So people need more of this. Yeah. So that's what you're not detouring. And then in the speaking side of things, like that program, I know those core elements. We teach storytelling, seeding, speaking, and selling, right? So all I'm gonna play with is that, right? Yeah. I can't talk about nothing but storytelling, speaking, selling, or that. If it's the CEO, like CEO Millionaires joint, it's D4. Decide, design, deliver, delegate. So if it's a delegation workshop, we talking scale. We're talking about hiring, firing, optimization, processes, SOPs, on down the line. We're talking communication relay, how communication gets passed down. We're talking about tracking mechanisms of that. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're talking about separating the asset of the CEO from the asset of the business from the asset of the process. So now you got 3 different ways to build revenue in the company. Right? That's delegated. We're talking deliver. What is the way that we deliver the results in our company? If we're talking design, designing the sales process, designing the lead process. If we're talking decide, I'll teach you how to create a CEO schedule. This is where I'm teaching you can't fix your schedule unless you fix your soul. So we got to talk about identity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not, it's a recipe.
From the recipe. Yeah.
Whatever the program is has a recipe and you're in that. That's it. And I'm very clear on it.
Got you. And I think it also shows me that you really have to be an expert in your stuff, right? Because if you're not an expert in what you're supposed to be teaching, you can't go that deep in your level of education, right? Because a lot of people are inch wide, are an inch deep and a mile wide. But if you have to be a true expert to be able to take a piece of your offer and teach a whole segment about it to make people hungry to end up buying the whole.
If you can't do an 8-hour or 2-day on,
you don't know enough.
On your core areas yet.
You don't know enough.
It just gives you a lot of ability to test, right? Like it could be it's the same offer, right? But like leading with the deliver or leading with a different component is like, oh wow, that's the hook. That's what they really cared about. But if you don't give yourself the opportunity to test, you'll never even know.
Bro, I used to be a party promoter. And this was back when party like a rock star. We did a rock star party. You know what the difference was on that night? Nothing other than people wore rock star clothes. When we did the all white party, you know what the difference was that night? Nothing but the fact that people were all white. Same DJ, same music. It's finding marketing campaigns.
Refresh.
It's that.
You can't go about it with brute force. It's like you can't I'm gonna just keep getting the same thing and try to get the same people with the same stuff. It's like people want to see something different. There's market sophistication. There's people who are already in your ecosystem. Oh, I would come to that class, but he did that one already. And how much are you missing out on because you weren't willing to refresh the front end?
That and it tells you like what I teach even depending on what level, right? If we're talking CEO level, I teach one data aspect that we don't track is what I call your internal scoreboard or your inner score. So when you do these micro launches and all these different things, it tells you what you're tired of early. You're like, I don't really like teaching that. Not saying you got to trash it. Replace yourself with a coach that teaches that. Right? So like, it's going to give you a data score because you realize I don't like talking about content. Because I think people obsess over it so much, they don't realize it's such a micro piece where they're doing content development, not business development. Conversation we're having now, you realize I'm really talking business, not this micro level.
Right.
If we're talking events, I won't help someone plan a virtual event, in-person event, or sell their offer if they can't tell me what they're offering and what the fulfillment is. Right. So if we're talking, hey, what's the offer? And I don't know, I'm trying to come up with it. I won't help you because I feel like you're stealing from the people.
Right.
Here's what I mean. If you're in the back room right before you get ready to go out to pitch the offer and create it, you haven't sat with your team to fix fulfillment. So you're in the back room with your friends and colleagues creating an offer that you're going to sell and make money. But your team isn't prepared to answer not one question about customer service or fulfillment. Which means we ain't building a business, we hustling. So it's like, I want to align with that, my integrity. Like any sale, man, that costs me sleep, peace. Like, I'm not saying we get everything perfect.
Right.
You want to be as right as you can.
Period.
That's a fact. Well, man, I feel like this episode dang near to be behind a paywall. How much sauce you gave the people. But, one thing, as you know, our platform is to inspire people that look like us, to help as many people of color build wealth, right? And so when we bring people like you on the show, it's to amplify, right, those possibilities and those realities. So when you think about, what being a melanin millionaire means to you, what would you say?
Man, I think it ties into my definition of wealth, or stress-free millions. Doing what you love, helping the people you love without wondering, can you afford it? You want to be able to generate enough revenue that if you are generous, you don't want to have to pause what you are to look at your bank account and say, can I be me?
Wow. Yeah. That's how you lead the people?
Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
Run that back.
Your heart is, man, I just want to help people in my neighborhood. Yeah. If that's your heart, that's who you are.
Yeah.
So you don't want to have to press pause on who you are to look at your bank account and ask permission to be you.
Ooh. And after that, what else needs to be said? My brother, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for just breaking. I mean, it was a lot of asking for a friend.
A whole lot of selfish
questions over here, man. So I really appreciate the gems and the wisdom and the insight. And I know our audience is going to get tremendous value from this.
Man, I love y'all to life, brother. For real. Honored to be here and love what y'all doing.
Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you.